Have you ever wanted superpowers? Have you ever thought of flying? What about running incredibly fast? Having superhuman strength? What about X-ray vision? What if I told you all these were fictional fantasies decades ago, but are closing in on becoming a reality? How? Let's take a closer look at transhumanism. Transhumanism, which is a part of posthumanism, is the belief that the human race can evolve beyond its physical and mental limitations, especially by means of science and technology. A common misconception of transhumanism is moving from being humans to being machines, which isn't too far off. However, to put more accurately, it's the merge of humans and machines, when the fine line between humans and machines gets increasingly blurry until we've reached the transhuman age. So, what does this have to do with superpowers? Well, let's take ideas like Cyborg or Robocop. The merge of humans and technologies shows how powerful a person can be with the abilities of a machine. This was entirely science fiction 20 years ago, but as technology gets more and more advanced, it's easy to see how much closer we are to obtaining these results. This is Kevin Warwick. He's the world's leading expert in cybernetics and author of iCyborg. He has successfully created a robot purely controlled by human brain cells.
So it's a different type of cyborg, part machine, part biological, part human even, if it's human brain cells we're considering.
Warwick is fascinated by the concept of cyborgs, creatures that are half biological and half artificial.
Is it thinking?
In his book, iCyborg, he talks about the lines he crossed to upgrade his body with high-tech implants in his nervous system, making him the world's first cyborg, allowing him to control machines wirelessly using, in this case, his left arm. Here you can see him controlling a robot arm through contractions and tensing. People around the world have since been body modding and merging themselves with machines, whether it's wearing an Apple Watch or inserting microchips in your body to monitor body vitals. Even contact lenses can be seen as attaching tech to your body to improve its performance and abilities. Now that we established what transhumanism is and all the amazing powers and abilities to look forward to in the future, it only begs the question, how much will it cost? Prosthetic arms have been a huge breakthrough in medicine and in transhumanism as well. A prosthetic arm allows such people to perform two-handed operations rather easily. It works through motors in the arm that are able to contract and relax each muscle through one's mind or through connections in the nervous system. Currently, the cost of a simple cosmetic arm is around $5,000, but a prosthetic functioning arm would set you back $20,000 to $100,000, depending on how advanced the arm is. Open Bionics have managed to create the world's first medically approved 3D printed bionic arm. Using space-grade technology, advanced software, and weighing less than a kilogram, the bionic arm is a big step towards the next generation of people. Luckily for many, it's 3D printed, making it relatively affordable at almost $7,000 for a fully functioning, customizable arm. Very impressive, however it does not give you super abilities and is not considered an upgrade from the human arm, for now. Let's move on to more advanced tech. Exoskeletons, or exosuits, are used to rehabilitate or enhance one's abilities. This could be used for people who have lost the ability to run, walk, or even stand, as well as for people who want or need new abilities or better performance, such as the super soldier. You see this in many futuristic or sci-fi movies like Iron Man, Avatar, Edge of Tomorrow, and in many futuristic games like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. In examples like these, it's difficult to see how the natural human body survives without the aid of exosuits. We still have a long way to go for suits like those, but developments are already being made. The Rewalk is the first ever FDA-approved exosuit that costed roughly around $70,000 to $80,000 for a suit that was used to replace wheelchairs for people who can't walk. For a suit that just about allows you to walk costs $80,000, it gives us an idea of what exosuits we see in movies could cost. MoneySupermarket.com estimates the suit in Iron Man 3 would cost roughly $110 million, minus the weapons and the priceless Jarvis. So, what do these expensive costs tell us about the future of transhumanism and the impact it has on the lower and higher class of people? In an article on inequality on the motherboard, Louise Matsakis starts by saying even transhumanist elites are worried only the rich will be able to cheat death. She goes in depth about how these modifications, upgrades, and biohacks will only be available for the fortunate. She also talks about the story of Z. Z's story is the creation of Zoltan Istvan, author of The Transhumanist Wager, and it shows how her class in the world prevented her from being involved in these technologies of the New World. The story was set in the 2040s and was supposed to be about how biohacking made her immortal, but instead raises the concern of not if it's possible to live forever, but rather who will be able to. Everyone's fear is that only the elite would prosper in the world of biohacking and transhumanism. As we all know, we live in a world where the rich only get richer and the poor only get poorer. One of the ways the rich get richer is through investments they would put into these transhuman technologies and control the transhuman market, making it harder and harder for the lower and middle class to have the opportunity of being involved. There's also the fact that these will definitely be upgraded and improved constantly. We see this by comparing what was possible, or rather impossible, 20 years ago and today. Not only will it be relatively expensive to be a part of the transhuman community, but if you fail to not move forward as a society, you'd be setting yourself more and more behind every generation. Like a never-ending race, except the rich get a 1 kilometer head start, and the poor are carrying weights that get heavier over time. As we mentioned, the rich only get richer and the poor poorer. This is a lot easier for people with great amounts of money to spare, as they would just invest to sell profits. It's nothing the world doesn't already go through, however it's proof on how even in the transhuman era, it only gets worse for the lower class. As the rich get more opportunities to better their lives through transhumanism, whether it's better medicines, better body parts, or even immortality, their offsprings would also get the opportunity simply for being born into the rich family, meaning a greater percentage of the rich would be involved in transhumanism, whereas the poor would produce relatively poor offspring, making it harder for them from birth to grab the opportunities of a transhumanist. As mentioned, this is no different to the opportunities we have now and how the rich have vastly greater chances to get involved in anything compared to the poor. This obviously affects survivability because transhumanism means upgrading one's body, thus meaning longer life expectancy, resistance to fatigue, diseases, etc. So, there will come a time where you would be forced to evolve for the sake of surviving, and the only way to evolve is to win that race.